Hey guys, welcome to Big Jake Fishing, and I'll be your host. I'm Jake. Thanks for watching this YouTube channel. And this is my very first video, and I'll be going into a lot of different fishing avenues that I can get myself into and trying to go out and catch some decent fish. And I hope you'll go along with me. I'll start off by saying I don't claim to be a professional at this. I'm definitely an amateur, and I will make plenty of mistakes. But I like to learn, and I like to grow as I learn and share that with other people as well. So I hope that you'll go along with me. If you like the channel and like what you see, then go ahead and like and subscribe if you would. But we'll get to fishing in just a second. Just wanted to introduce myself. Again, my name's Jake, and I live in the Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia tri-state area. I live in Greencastle, Pennsylvania, and right below us is the state line of Maryland. And I used to live in Hagerstown, and then right below that was really the West Virginia border. Lived in Martinsburg for a little bit, and it was great, and loved living in all of those places, but got to really get introduced to the Potomac River and then a lot of good creeks in the area. Hopefully we'll be able to do some bass fishing tournaments and some other bigger things too, but definitely want to share the local experience with everybody, and I'm looking forward to that. And so I figured I'd just start by doing something real simple. And the first video, if you want to go ahead and skip forward, you're more than welcome to, but we're gonna do some very simple bobber fishing. And I know a lot of people say that you're supposed to call them floats, or maybe you're supposed to call them strike indicators, but I just called them bobbers growing up, and that's probably what I'll always call them. But that's what we're going to be using, and just going out and doing some wade fishing. So very simple, but it's a lot of fun. I don't know if you can beat seeing a bobber get sucked under and giving it that big tug and just reeling in whatever happens to be on the other end of the line. I have a feeling we'll probably catch a good amount of catfish where we're going. I prefer bass over anything else. I love that, but I don't mind catching other stuff too. Of course, if you're a fisherman, you usually aren't too picky, especially on days when they're hard to get to bite anyways. So we're gonna go out there in the morning, and again, just wanted to introduce myself, Big Jake Fishing, and hope you like what you see. And we'll do some tips and tricks along the way, the few that I've picked up and more that I'll learn as I go. So hope that you'll stick around, and we'll see you bright and early in the morning getting ready to go out wade fishing. Morning everyone, we are out here and we're getting ready to do some bobber fishing, and we are at Williamsport, and they call this the hot wall. That's because on the right there's this old power plant that probably, I think this is why they would generate, and of course that would heat the water up. So it's still a great spot to come get some fish. There's bass in here. I'm hoping we'll get one or two of those at least. And then there's also some catfish. And then along with me here, I've got Trevor. Trevor is he's a fellow church member. We go to the same church, and he's getting ready to finish up, I say. He's got 3 semesters left, but he's over halfway through college degree, and so he's studying music. But let's see, Trevor, what is the biggest, show us with your hands, what's the biggest catfish that you have caught?
I haven't yet.
What kind did you catch when you last went out?
I caught a bass.
You caught a bass. Oh, okay. So he hasn't even caught a catfish. So we're going to have a new PB for Trevor today, hopefully. I don't see why not. But as you can see, this is where we're going to be fishing. Now, I will say, just to mention something about wade fishing, you need to know where you're going, and you need to know what you're getting yourself into. That doesn't mean that you have to know everything, but you got to be really careful. Now, I'm wearing waders. Trevor, you saw, he's not wearing waders. Either one is fine, especially with the water temperature being what it is. But I know for this location that because I see these grass islands, when they pop up, I know it's safe to wade at least out to there. And I've actually waded across this whole entire area, so I know exactly where it gets really deep. It will get up to about my chest height, almost to my shoulders in a few spots. Now, I'm 6'3" and 200 and none of your business pounds, so I'm pretty heavy to move. You need to be careful wherever you're wade fishing that you don't overextend yourself and put yourself in a spot where you're in danger of some sort. So always be careful. Let somebody know where you're going, or have a buddy with you, and just be careful. But anyways, so you can see over there the little spillway area on the right, where that comes through that sluice there. That's where there's a lot of good fish, and a lot of guys fish there, but we're actually going to aim more towards the middle. I think we're going to do really well out there. But before we even get started fishing, we're gonna start with putting out some a trap for some minnows. So what we've got here is we've got a trap. Let's see here, Trevor, why don't you hold these for me? And then we've got a trap here that hopefully you can see, and we're gonna make sure we get that in the water and get some minnows. And then we've got, for bait, we've got some dry cat food. We got some dry cat food. You can also use some dry, some dog food. That'll work as well. Dog food's a little bit chunkier, so as long as it's hard and not soft, you'll be good to go. So we're gonna get this out there, and I'm gonna point out a couple good options for where to put your bait trap. But we're gonna walk on out there. Hopefully we'll catch a few catfish, and we're gonna hopefully take some home and fillet them, and send them home with Trevor at least. I don't know if I'll take any today, but that's what we're gonna try to do. In this area, there's a lot of rocks, and so you want to make sure that you wear some good solid shoes, whether that's waders. I've done this in Crocs. Those seem to be pretty durable. Just got to watch your ankles, and there are definitely big boulders in certain spots. So you just got to take your time. I will probably still slip and fall today, but hey, that's what makes great videos, right? So these grass islands will be perfect for putting our stuff on, and then we can move out from there. We've also got worms that we're going to use to start with while our bait trap is filling. Now, as far as where to put your bait trap, you can see in between these islands, everything slows down quite a bit compared to on the sides where you've got the current that's moving faster. Bait fish will always look for slower current so they don't have to fight as much, and usually they'll be in the shallow, warmer water, usually. So we're going to find a spot here just to toss this out, and we'll get it set up. Just put your bait in, get you one of these silver Fabril, I think it is, and get you one of those. You can get them at Walmart or Amazon, and just put some bait in there. You can use bread, different things like that too, whatever's going to work. Minnows just like food. And also, if you think about it, you can also go upstream just a little bit, so that the current, any current that does catch it, washes it down, and it catches this, they catch the scent and come on up to it. So we're going to put it in here, somewhere around here, and then we'll come back and check that in a little bit, and then we'll get to fishing as soon as we get that in the water. All right, we've got our bait trap there in the water, and you can see I've got a paracord that is running right down here by my feet and tied to our bucket that we got. And that just, if you get a 50-foot or whatever, that just helps you not have to walk as far, just haul it back in, etc. So we'll come back in after that soak for a bit, but now we're going to get to the real fun part, the fishing. So I've got a very simple setup here. It's a medium heavy rod with a fast action. It's an ugly stick. Again, if you hate on ugly stick, hey, this thing's worked great for hauling stuff in. And oops, that's not good. Mistake number one, don't drop the worm, Jake. There we go. All right, anyways, and then we're just gonna use good old worms to start. And I've got a long shank jig head here. Now, this is one I happen to have. I use a lot of just whatever I happen to have. So this is a long shank one, and I like that. It kind of separates it from the head. And this is not your traditional catfish way. Your traditional catfishing is going to be, you throw the thing in with the egg sinker or roll sinker, whatever you want to call it, and you let it sit there. I can't stand to wait that long, so I need to see action. That's why we got our float there, or if you want to call it strike indicator. That's why we got that up there. And this one, the foam ones always work better than the plastic, because if you hit that wall over there that we cast to, it could crack it, and the foam just lasts a lot longer, and it's easy to see too. I love this fluorescent color that we got. So we're just going to thread this worm on here. Catfish are not picky. They don't really care. Now they're going to munch on it. You're going to see that you'll be able to tell when something's been hitting on it, because it'll be all tore up and kind of chewed up. But we're going to get this going. You really only need half a worm, but because this has a long shank, and because we really just want to get bit early, we're going to go ahead and thread this whole puppy on. You can do it whatever method that you want. I'm just throwing this thing on here. Make sure kind of we cover the hook. Again, if we get a bass out of this, that would be awesome. Now, let's go ahead and walk our way that way. I know where the deeper spots are. You got to just figure that out by casting. And you'll notice that we're going to start by figuring out where they are in the depth. So see how the bobber's about 2.5 feet above the hook? That's how we're going to start today, and we'll see how that works. And if we don't catch something, then will adjust the depth a little bit. But if you're gonna catch, they're gonna bite on worms, absolutely. They'll also bite on the bait fish later. Sometimes they're a little more picky than others, but we're gonna get Trevor, since he hasn't caught a catfish before, we're gonna get him hooked up with at least the know-how of how to do it for one, and then we'll hand it over to him, and I'll get my rod and reel, and I'll get going as well. So here we go. Now the fun part about this is we're going to cast up towards the falls. Now you probably are going to have a little hard time hearing me, sorry about that. I'll try to be as loud and clear as I can, but we're going to cast up towards the falls, and you'll see different areas where there's pools of white water that you see coming down. That's obviously the fast current stuff. The fish love being up here because there's extra oxygen. When water comes down, it plunges some of the air in underneath the water as well, so it oxygenates the water, very much like an aerator. If you have a fish tank or a bass boat or something where they've got an aerator in it, that's exactly what this does. So they love being here, especially in the summertime, which is where we're at when we're at right now. So we're gonna look for those spots. Sometimes they're in the middle of that white rapid stuff, but lots of times they'll be right off the current edge. See even the pool straight in front of us there. So we're gonna see what we got, but we'll give it a cast out here. We'll watch it. The biggest thing is to just find your spot, target it, and hopefully don't overshoot here. All right, there we go. All right, so that'll work for now. We'll see what happens. If it's too long, it'll drag. Oh, we went under. There we go. We already got hooked up there. And looks like we got a cat. We got a cat going on here. Hopefully, is he still on? Oh, we got a baby. We got a baby. All right, but that's how we do it. And he left us our worm as long as you don't shake it off. Now, what we need to do here is I've got gloves. And you can call me a sissy, whatever. I don't like getting my thumb chewed off or getting poked. These things have 3 spines on them. The top, oh, and there went the worm. Save it, Trevor, save it. Just kidding. But you have a spine on the top, and you got 2 on the front that are on the sides, okay? So the best way to handle these fish, and you can do this barehanded, but I just prefer having a glove on. It makes it less slimy. I gave Trevor one. If he wants to use it, he can. You slide up their body, and then underneath the side there, and your hand either on the top or behind that top fin there. Then you just got a good grip on them. We're not gonna keep this one way too small for really filleting, but again, they hit hard, and you can just see it go down. So then you just carefully, these will bend if you're not too careful and you just yank on them, but they have fairly tough skin and you can just kind of work it back and forth. Catfish are very hardy and they'll last for a long time out of water, even for I think 30 minutes, an hour, sometimes even longer. I've had them croaking for longer than that when I've taken them home. So anyways, there's that little guy, and be careful when you release. The smaller they are, the stickier their spines are going to be. I'll introduce you to this guy some video, but I have one friend, he dropped this thing, or one like this, right on his foot, and it went through his shoe and into his big toe. We don't want that happening today. I don't mind little mishaps, but this is a big one. So that's a big one. So we'll throw him back, let him get back to where he wants to be. We're gonna rebait, and I'm gonna let Trevor do this and have him take over and catch his first catfish. And we'll see how long that takes. And we'll both be jumping in together here, catching hopefully some bigger ones. There we go, that didn't take too long. Still on there? There you go. Awesome. All right, you want to handle this one or you want me to?
I can try to.
All right. Yeah. Here, let me hold your rod for you. Again, their teeth don't hurt, but they are sandpaper-ish, and if you handle a lot of them in a day, they cut my thumb up pretty good last time, so I was like, I'm gonna use my my glove this time. So yeah, I grab the line with this hand, with your free hand, yep, then your gloved hand, just start on the bottom, yep, perfect. Slide on up underneath, yeah, underneath, no, you were right, underneath, just like that. Now you don't got to worry about those things. Yep, grab it, you're just gonna push it back the same way it went in. It's probably stuck fairly good. They have tough skin and stuff. Don't be afraid to push pretty good on it to get it out. You might have to go back and forth, kind of. You're not gonna hurt them. They'll be just fine. Give it a good push. There you go. And I toss him back to where he came from. Again, that was a good catch. We'll try to aim for a little bit bigger as far as keeping, but that was awesome. Hey, that's your biggest one.
Yep.
I'll make sure I get a picture, still picture of that off of the film. That way you can get that. I forgot, I'm sorry. All right, so I've got a just a green head jig here, and it's smaller than Trevor's. Trevor's is a long shank, so I'm still going to use this smaller one, and we'll see. Sometimes you can get some bass with something like this. I've got it tied directly to braid. People want to do all sorts of different stuff. Some, you know, for catfish, and if it's a mix of small catfish and bass, you can do a jig especially. It works great. I've caught some, had some great days with smallmouth here, just doing a small jig like this and worms. But you know, you do what you want. You want to do the Jello chicken, or you want to do chicken gizzards, or whatever else you want to. That all works for catfish. Catfish are very smell oriented. They also will bite regular lures though for bass fishing, like crankbaits, and I caught one on a good sized one for our creek on the Ned rig. I don't know if you saw that over there. There's catfish jumping. They're coming to the top and gulping air and going back down, so they're turning. So anyways, we'll get to fishing here again, but that was Trevor's first catfish. Congrats, man. All right, Trevor's gonna be good on his own for a little bit. My rod, I forgot to mention, I have a bait caster tied on. I think it's 30-pound braid, which is more than enough for what we catch here. I've caught 6 or 7 pound catfish out of here, but this will be just fine. If you're a new catfisher or a new fisherman in general, maybe ease into the bait caster. It is a little tricky to learn, but I'll go into that some other video, but just want to make sure you're good to go. You can cast it up. You can see I'm going to be aiming for up there. We'll see how deep they are. We'll see how quickly they're biting. Sometimes they're a little finicky. Obviously, we've had a couple easy, good bites already over here where Trevor's been fishing and I caught that first one. So, all right, let's get to it. Sometimes it's not a bad thing if that jig head crawls over the rocks and stuff on the bottom. That can be a good thing. Gets down to where the catfish usually are. They'll come up and bite stuff, but they'll also like it right by their faces, you know. Looks like Trevor's hauling in another one. Oh, he got the baby of them all. Let's go help him out. All right, so I thought it was little. It's actually not that bad. That's got to be at least 1.5 pounds. We might keep this one, at least so we have one to start, and so at least Trevor gets to take one home. So way to go, man. He said he snapped one off on a big one, so we'll put on some sturdier hooks just because it seems like we aren't getting any bass yet. So we'll just go with the catfishing for now, and we'll get that rigged up and get back on the water. All right, we're back with the bigger gauge hook. We got worms on. The minnow trap is reset, hopefully in a better location. Apparently, I chose very poorly with that. But we'll see what we get here. Trevor is venturing more this way. Now this one, I've just got a heavier gauge hook. Doesn't have a head on it or anything really, so it's not like it's a jig head. If I need to, I'll add a weight, just like a split shot on there, although those you can kind of throw those off sometimes. But we will see what bites, and then you switch it up if it's not working. There it is. I don't think I was even watching, shame on me. Come here, buddy. Man, they're all like the same-ish, slow down, same-ish size, you know? Kind of interesting. Yeah, keep those fins up. There we go. Yeah, a little bit bigger than the last one, but still, you know, for eating, I think 3 to 5 pounds, 2.5, whatever, is really perfect because it's got the better size fillets that you're really looking for. But in a pinch you can go smaller, but And there's plenty. It's not like we're gonna run out of channel catfish, you know. I know this guy's gonna, it's just gonna be quicker to go this route with it. There we go. All right, bye, fishy. Ooh, turned on that, almost spined my glove. Hey, you left my line here, or my worm. Problem is, most of it's up on the line now. You can usually get at least a couple, you know, fish, as long as they don't fling it off, out of one worm. These are night crawlers. I've used the red top ones as well. I think those are good. They're a little harder to get on the big hooks, but again, catfish aren't really too picky, so they work as long as you can get them on there. All right, make sure we're good to go there. And we'll keep going. Man, that's some fast moving stuff right there. All right, well, I went back and just switching up my rig just a little bit, picked up my other pole, my spinning combo instead of my bait caster. And then Trevor, my GoPro died right before Trevor caught a little smallmouth, and so I think we got maybe just a short clip of that, of him holding it, and we'll try to put that on there. But that was great. I'm glad to see he caught that. He caught that on a jig head, of course. That's a little bit more appealing to them than just a big huge catfish hook. So you can catch either. You just run the risk of bending that hook out again. So anyways, we're gonna get back to some fishing here, and hopefully get some minnows out of the minnow trap in just a little bit too. So we'll let you know. There's one. Oh, did it get off? It did, man. Oh wow. Huh. Well, that is unusual. I usually have them pull the line through that way. That's highly unusual. He must have pulled it off the hook with that circle part. Well, those things happen. I had a decent knot tied. I don't think the knot broke. I think it slipped off the shank edge there, which means, I mean, you're probably supposed to wrap it a certain way and spend a little bit longer doing it. But again, like I said, not a professional. So I'll dig out one of the other, I think I have another couple hooks in here. Dig one out, put it back on, and keep fishing. That's because it's not. It's the little guy. Stop moving around, little fishy. Little tiny guy. Now you gotta give my worm back, buddy. Okay? There you go. Alright, bye-bye. There we go. I think he's still on there. This might be swimming straight at me. There it is. Come here, buddy. Got a little chunky. Squawking again, too. Throw you on the stringer. Get at least a decent fillet out of you. could be a little bigger, but today we're not going to be too choosy. Hey guys, just want to finish the video up here. Sorry, it was a little bit of an abrupt ending, but we actually had some storm and rain came through, and so we tried to get off the water pretty quickly so we could get on our way. We did stop though, and we did actually fillet those fish that we caught, a couple of them at least. I think we kept 3 of them, and sent those fillets home with Trevor. Congrats again to him on his first catfish, and then that bass that he caught, he outfished me with bass that day. So anyways, I will have to show you the results of those fillets. Hopefully I'll get that up there on the screen and you can see that, but it looked amazing. I'm only jealous that Trevor's mom did not invite me to come eat with them, because that looked awesome. And so, but kudos to them on that. Looks amazing. But had a great time out. It's really fun when you get to take somebody out and they get to catch their first species of fish, or just catching fish in general. He said that was the most fish that he'd caught on a fishing trip. So I think he caught 5 or so, which awesome. That was great. So we had a fantastic time, but I just wanted to wrap things up. And if you liked what you saw, I hope that you'll like and subscribe to the channel. And looking forward to a whole lot more adventures to come. And we will see you out on the water.